From the very start of his career, Billy Bob Thornton has always stood out for his raw talent, quirky personality, and of course his high-profile relationships that kept Hollywood talking. With a track record of 6 marriages, his love life has always been under the microscope. But one marriage in particular had everyone talking: his whirlwind romance with Angelina Jolie. At the peak of both of their careers, their unexpected and rather unusual marriage became the talk of the town. However, just 3 years later, their relationship came to a sudden end. Now, after all these years, Billy Bob is finally opening up about the real reason behind their split. Join us as we take a look at Billy Bob's personal life and uncover the truth about what happened. Billy Bob's story starts with some humble beginnings. Born on August 4th, 1955 in Hot Springs, Arkansas, he grew up in a tiny shack with no plumbing or electricity. He moved around quite a bit during his childhood, living in various towns across Arkansas, including Alpine, Malin, and Mount Holly. Billy Bob was raised by his father, William Raymond Thornton, a high school teacher and basketball coach, and his mother, Virginia Roberta, who claimed to have psychic abilities. Billy Bob's childhood wasn't exactly the stuff of Hollywood dreams. Diagnosed with dyslexia later in life, he struggled with academics, especially at school. However, he found his passion in sports and became a talented baseball player during high school. He even tried out for the Kansas City Royals, but an injury kept him from making the team. After finishing high school in 1973, Billy Bob tried his hand at a variety of jobs, including laying asphalt for the Arkansas State Transportation Department. He briefly attended Henderson State University, thinking about majoring in psychology, but after just 2 semesters, he decided to switch gears and chase a different dream. That dream took him to Los Angeles in the mid-1980s, where he set out to make a name for himself as an actor, though things didn't quite go as planned at first. While auditioning for roles, he worked a mix of jobs, from telemarketing to fast food, and even tried his luck in offshore wind farming. It was while waiting tables that he met screenwriter and director Billy Wilder. The advice Wilder gave him turned out to be a game changer. He suggested Billy Bob explore screenwriting, which would end up paving the way for his big break and a successful Hollywood career. Billy Bob Thornton's acting journey started with small roles in films and TV shows. He made his stage debut in the play Beethoven's Symphonies in 1987 and appeared in the thriller Hunter's Blood the same year. He also landed supporting roles in TV shows like Matlock and South of Reno. However, it wasn't until 1992 that he had his big break with One False Move, where he not only acted but also co-wrote the screenplay with his longtime writing partner Tom Epperson. His performance and writing were widely praised in this gritty crime drama. Then came 1996, the year that truly launched Billy Bob's career. He starred in, wrote, and directed Sling Blade, a film about a mentally disabled man, which was actually based on a short film he had made earlier. The movie tells the story of a man who commits a horrific murder, and it earned rave reviews from critics worldwide. Sling Blade was a huge success, landing Billy Bob an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. He was also nominated for Best Actor, solidifying his reputation as a serious talent in Hollywood. Thanks to the success of Sling Blade, Thornton's career skyrocketed, and he went on to star in other critically acclaimed films like Armageddon: A Simple Plan, for which he earned another Academy Award nomination, and Primary Colors. Billy Bob Thornton didn't just shine in front of the camera, he also tried his hand at directing. After films like Daddy and Them and All the Pretty Horses, he attempted to direct again. But All the Pretty Horses left him feeling disillusioned. The studio forced him to cut large parts of the film, which really soured him on the whole directing experience. In 2003, Billy Bob took on the role of a lifetime in the dark comedy Bad Santa, which became a fan favorite and cemented his reputation for playing unconventional, edgy characters. His portrayal of the foul-mouthed, hard-drinking mall Santa became one of his most iconic performances, and he even admitted to having a drink or two to get into character. This role, along with others like Friday Night Lights and The Alamo, proved his versatility and kept his acting career strong. Billy Bob also made a successful jump into television in 2014, starring in Fargo, where his performance as the ruthless psychopath Lorne Malvo won him a Golden Globe. His acting skills shone again in 2016 with Goliath, where he played a disgraced lawyer, showcasing just how adaptable he was as an actor. Of course, Billy Bob's personal life grabbed just as much attention as his career, especially his 5th marriage to Angelina Jolie. Their relationship was the talk of Hollywood, but let's rewind a bit and dive into his personal life before that, starting with his earlier years with Melissa Lee Gatlin. Billy Bob Thornton got married for the first time in 1978 to Melissa Lee Gatlin. While not much is known about their time together, this relationship marked the start of Thornton's complicated love life. In June 1979, they welcomed a daughter named Amanda. Unfortunately, their marriage didn't last long. By 1980, they decided to split, with Melissa citing incompatibility and adultery on Billy Bob's part as the reasons for the divorce. As a result, Amanda spent most of her childhood growing up with her mother, far from her father. Years later, Amanda's life took a tragic turn. In 2008, she was accused of causing the death of her friend's 1-year-old daughter, which led to a 20-year prison sentence. Her legal team, however, argued it was an accident. With help from the Innocence Project of Florida, new evidence was presented, and Amanda was finally released from prison in 2020. After his first marriage ended, Billy Bob had a brief romantic relationship with Toni Lawrence before marrying her in 1986, marking his second marriage. It seemed like Toni Lawrence, who had roles in films like Daddy's Deadly Darling and Soul Survivor, could be a good match for Billy Bob Thornton. However, their marriage was short-lived, lasting only 2 years. During their time together, they didn't have children, and the relationship quickly fell apart. Toni later reflected on Billy Bob's own words, admitting he's a very talented person, but also very troubled. She was thinking about their time together when she made this statement. After their split, Toni remarried and moved to Los Angeles, where she found a more peaceful life, becoming a potter. Although their marriage was brief, it was clear the time they spent together had a lasting impact on both of them. Billy Bob's third marriage was to actress Cinda Williams, known for her roles in Mo Better Blues and One False Move, the latter being the film where Billy Bob made his first attempt at screenwriting. Ironically, despite working together, their relationship lacked the romantic spark. Billy Bob later admitted that they were just friends and probably shouldn't have gotten married. Their marriage lasted from 1990 to 1992, ending in a split after just a few years. Billy Bob Thornton and Cinda Williams decided to part ways amicably, even though their romantic relationship didn't work out. After the split, Cinda found happiness with Roderick Plummer, a film producer, and the two of them now have a child together. It's clear she's moved on from her brief marriage to Thornton, as she often shares moments of their life together on social media. Billy Bob's fourth marriage, however, to Petra Dawn Chernak, a Playboy model, is one of the more controversial chapters in his love life. They married in 1993 and had 2 sons, William and Harry, who were born within a year of each other. At first, their marriage seemed perfect, but behind closed doors, it was far from ideal. In 1997, Petra filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. What made the situation even more shocking was that she also filed for a restraining order against Billy Bob, accusing him of abuse. Petra claimed that Thornton had physically assaulted her on multiple occasions, even in front of their children, saying he punched, hit, and shoved her. Billy Bob denied the allegations, stating, "Our marriage was not perfect, but I never exhibited the behavior she's accusing me of." He also expressed concern for their sons, saying they would be the ones to suffer the most from the divorce and the accusations. Despite Billy Bob Thornton's denials, the damage from his marriage to Petra Dawn Chernak was already done, and the relationship ended. Though he went on to marry other people, that chapter continued to haunt his personal life. Then came his relationship with Angelina Jolie, a romance that took everyone by surprise but was impossible to ignore. At the time, Angelina Jolie was already a major Hollywood star, having dated several famous faces. However, it was her unexpected marriage to Billy Bob Thornton in 2000 that really captured the world's attention. When Billy Bob first met Angelina, he was engaged to actress Laura Dee. They had been together for over 2 years, living together and making plans for their future. But everything changed when Thornton and Jolie met on the set of Pushing Tin in 1999. Their chemistry was instant, both on-screen and off. Jolie had just come out of a marriage with actor Johnny Lee Miller, and Thornton was still very much in a relationship. However, despite being with other people, sparks flew. The film, which was about a couple dealing with the aftermath of an affair, seemed to parallel what was happening behind the scenes. Thornton and Jolie quickly grew close, and their connection eventually turned romantic. Before anyone knew it, Thornton ended his engagement with Laura Dee, and she was left shocked. She later said, "I left our home to work on a movie, and while I was away, my boyfriend got married. I've never heard from him again. It was as sudden as it was unexpected." By May 2000, just months after they met, Thornton and Jolie were married. Jolie and Thornton shocked the world with their Las Vegas wedding, which was nothing like the grand Hollywood affairs people expected. Instead, it was casual and low-key, with Jolie pulling her hair back and keeping things simple. Despite the simplicity, it caught everyone by surprise, especially Laura D., who had been engaged to Thornton until then. The couple, eccentric and unconventional, were completely in love. While most Hollywood couples at the time were all about public displays of affection and romantic dinners, Jolie and Thornton took it to a whole new level. One of the most talked about quirks of their relationship was that they wore vials of each other's blood around their necks, adding to their mysterious aura. Their love was intense, wild, and unpredictable, something totally different from what people were used to. They didn't care about what anyone thought. Right after their wedding, they bought a massive house in Beverly Hills that had once been owned by Slash, the guitarist from Guns N' Roses. The house had 9 bedrooms and even a recording studio. Yet despite the size and grandeur, they weren't known for spending much time there. They were constantly traveling and working on different projects, but the house seemed like a sign they were ready to settle down together. Their passionate relationship was on full display at public events. One of the most memorable moments came at the Gone in 60 Seconds premiere in June 2000. As they walked the red carpet, they couldn't keep their hands off each other and even shared a passionate kiss in front of photographers. When asked about their most exciting moment during an interview with MTV, Thornton didn't hold back, saying, "I believe it was today that we fucked in the car on the way here." Their level of transparency about their relationship set them apart from other Hollywood couples, keeping the public fascinated by their love story, which was full of surprises. Jolie and Thornton continued to surprise people with their quirky behavior. In December 2000, Thornton gave an interview addressing some of the rumors swirling around them. One of the most notable stories was about the couple allegedly swapping pants. Thornton jokes, "I did wear my wife's knickers while working out in the gym one day, and a guy saw it, but I don't wear them every day. I wear them occasionally." He clarified that while the rumor wasn't completely false, it had been blown way out of proportion. Their relationship continued to make headlines, with the couple openly sharing the depths of their love. In an interview with US Weekly, they revealed that in their Beverly Hills home, they had a special padded room where they would go when their love for each other became too intense. Jolie explained how their connection affected her. "It's amazing that we actually leave the room ever, and then I just feel like I'm on fire. I didn't know I could feel that through my entire body. I feel so complete, safe, warm, and in love. After that, I feel like I'm falling apart." Thornton echoed her sentiments, admitting that their level of intimacy was almost too intense. But one of the most talked about aspects of their relationship was the famous blood vials. In July 2001, the media went into a frenzy when it was revealed that they wore necklaces containing each other's blood. The story was so exaggerated that people imagined them walking around with buckets of blood hanging around their necks. Thornton later clarified the situation, saying it wasn't as dramatic as the media made it sound. He explained, "We poke our fingers with a pen and smear a little blood on them. When we're away from each other, we wear the necklace." Even though it wasn't as complicated as it seemed, the blood vials symbolized the intensity and uniqueness of their bond. Their romance was wild, eccentric, and unlike any other. While other Hollywood couples of the time were more traditional, Jolie and Thornton constantly pushed the boundaries of what people expected from a relationship. Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie's relationship continued to captivate the public with their unpredictable antics. Their love was bold and unashamed, marked by eccentric gestures like the infamous blood necklaces. But it was in March 2002 that they prepared to take a significant step in their relationship by adopting a child together. They had set their sights on Maddox, a 7-month-old boy from Cambodia. Jolie had publicly announced their decision to adopt, and everything seemed to be moving forward. However, as their relationship began to unravel, their plans shifted. Jolie later clarified that Thornton had no involvement in the adoption process, and he never publicly commented on the situation. As their relationship deteriorated, rumors of infidelity started to surface. Some reports suggested Thornton was seeing a therapist for sex addiction, and it was alleged that he had slept with the therapist. Neither Thornton nor Jolie ever confirmed or denied the rumors, but they certainly added tension to their already fragile relationship. Jolie was reportedly devastated by the rumors, and by the summer of 2002, the couple had quietly separated and eventually divorced. Fans and the media were left speculating about what had gone wrong. While Thornton remained silent on the matter, Jolie later reflected on their breakup in a 2004 interview with Vogue. She admitted that they had changed too much as individuals to make their marriage work, explaining that both of them had transformed in such a short amount of time that they no longer had anything in common. She stated, "In a year, I became who I am today very much, and he became who he is today." Jolie went on to reveal in a 2005 Vanity Fair interview that their marriage ended because they had simply grown apart. "We were going in completely different directions in life, and then one day we just looked at each other, and we had nothing to say to each other." As Jolie explained, their relationship had gradually changed, and they found themselves going in opposite directions. She mentioned that the shift took her by surprise, saying, "Overnight, we completely changed. I think one day we had just nothing in common, and it's scary, but I think it can happen when you get involved and you don't know yourself yet." Thornton, in contrast, took some time to open up about their split. In 2003, he told Entertainment Weekly that their breakup came out of nowhere and left him feeling confused. He compared it to a sudden disaster, describing it as like, say you're going to a nightclub one night with your friends and you're in the queue. And the next thing you know, there are guys with helicopters and there's machine gun fire and you don't know what happened. Over the years, Thornton has been more candid about feeling out of place in their marriage. In a 2016 GQ interview, he admitted he never felt good enough for Jolie. He could not pinpoint a specific reason for their separation, but acknowledged that their relationship had undergone a sudden shift. Jolie's lifestyle, filled with constant travel, high-profile events, and meetings with world leaders, contrasted with Thornton's preference for a quieter life, avoiding the spotlight. He explained, "I'm really uncomfortable around rich and important people," which further widened the gap between them. In 2018, Thornton revealed that their drastically different lifestyles were a significant factor in their divorce. Jolie led a global lifestyle constantly on the move, while Thornton preferred staying home. He said, "We simply had different lifestyles. Hers is a global lifestyle, while mine is an agoraphobic lifestyle." Despite the end of their relationship in 2002, Jolie and Thornton have remained on good terms. Both moved on with their lives. Thornton married Connie England in 2014, while Jolie married Brad Pitt the same year, though their marriage ended in 2016. Jolie even wrote the foreword for Thornton's memoir, The Billy Bob Tape, A Cave Full of Ghosts, where she spoke fondly of him. In her writing, she praised his unique personality and his struggle with agoraphobia. She described him as someone who could not silence the voices in his head, but made it clear that she admired and loved him for it. Thornton has also spoken warmly about Jolie in interviews. In 2016, he shared with GQ that they still stayed in touch, although not frequently. Despite their brief relationship, it is clear that their bond remained strong, and they continue to speak highly of one another. It was stated by Thornton that they continue to communicate on a monthly basis. The fact that they have diverse lives does not prevent them from connecting when they communicate. Despite the fact that he was uncomfortable among the rich and important individuals that Jolie frequently dealt with, he admitted that he never felt like he was good enough for Jolie. Jolie's contribution to the foreword of the Billy Bob Tape, which was published in 2012, brought additional attention to their bond. She discussed Thornton's issues with agoraphobia and his one-of-a-kind personality, highlighting the fact that even though their romantic relationship had come to an end, their respect and care for one another had not diminished. She even made the observation, "The world would certainly be a hell of a lot more dull if that man weren't in it." The current marriage that Thornton is in appears to have gone a different road from the marriages that he has been in the past. Before he met Connie England, he had already been married 5 times. He was now in his 5th marriage. On the other hand, the development of this partnership was a slow process. In 2002, Thornton and England had their first encounter on the set of the film Bad Santa. Despite the fact that they were immediately attracted to one another, they did not settle down and get married right away. Before they ultimately tied the knot in 2014, they had been dating for a combined total of 12 years. They avoided the public glare and kept their relationship quiet during the time that they were together. This was especially important considering the severe media scrutiny that Thornton was subjected to during his high-profile marriage to Angelina Jolie. And the fact that Thornton was not in a rush to get married again was something that he admitted. During an interview with Maxim in 2008, He revealed that he did not wish to subject Connie Anglin to the high level of public scrutiny that would come with being his sixth wife. But by 2014, they had come to the conclusion that it was time. They chose to keep the wedding a secret from the press and the general public by holding it at their house in Los Angeles to keep it private. Thornton even disclosed on The Late Late Show with James Corden that they were married in their front yard by a priest, which brought to light the fact that this marriage was very different from the ones that he had previously been involved in, that received a lot of mainstream attention. That it is because of the way in which their personalities complement each other that Thornton and Anglin have been able to maintain their relationship for such a long time. Anglin lives a more subdued existence, which is in stark contrast to the wild days he spent with Jolie. Thornton has frequently referred to himself as a homebody, and as someone who feels uneasy when he is in the company of extremely wealthy or influential individuals. This inclination is shared by Anglin, who expresses the same level of satisfaction in remaining at home as he does. The fact that their daughter, Bella, is educated at home provides Thornton with the opportunity to spend even more time with them. Anglin, who worked in the film industry as a makeup and special effects artist, has contributed to major films such as Men in Black and Planet of the Apes. Yet she has maintained a far lower profile than Thornton's prior partners. Anglin has worked in the film industry. Thornton has consistently lauded her for her ability to comprehend the one-of-a-kind personality that he possesses. While Jolie was overseas meeting with world leaders and working on important causes, Anglin was content to have the opportunity to spend time with him at home, away from the spotlight. There was a time when Thornton made a joke about how their house even had a recording studio so that he could stay active without having to leave the living room. This arrangement was something that Thornton treasured, particularly after a number of marriages that did not work out. It seems that he had finally found the calm that he had been looking for a very long time when he became a parent once more and maintained a more balanced life with Anglin and Bella. Both finding someone who is a good match for your personality and finding someone who is the perfect time for you are extremely crucial in a relationship that can survive for a long time. However, the proportion of each factor can shift based on the circumstances and the people who are involved. Personalities that are complementary to one another can be quite important for the success of a relationship since it fosters harmony. It is possible for two people to have a stronger connection with one another when they naturally recognize and support each other's differences. In the case of Thornton and Connie Anglin, for instance, the fact that their personalities and ways of life are compatible contributes to the success of their relationship. The tranquil, home-centered lifestyle that they both enjoy is something that he appreciates, and she is just as satisfied with that way of life. Because they have a mutual knowledge of one another's characters, they have been able to establish a partnership that is both stable and long-lasting. Time, on the other hand, can be of equal or even more significance. Even when two people are complementary to one another, it is still possible for a relationship to be successful. Nevertheless, the timing of the relationship is frequently what determines whether or not it is successful. There is a correlation between timing and emotional preparation, personal development, and external situations. In the instance of Thornton, the fact that he and Anglin did not rush into marriage but rather waited until they were both ready demonstrates that love can sometimes flourish most effectively under circumstances in which both individuals are in the appropriate place in their lives. In a similar vein, Jolie and Thornton's relationship, despite the fact that it was intense, did not endure because of the unfortunate timing of their respective personal transformations. According to Jolie's later reflections, they just became estranged from one another. In the end, it is likely that both aspects contribute to the quality of a relationship. Nevertheless, it is possible that finding someone whose personality complements your own is a more important element in determining your level of satisfaction over the long term. However, in order for that compatibility to flourish, it is necessary to have the correct timing, which corresponds to when both parties are prepared for the connection.